Okay, today I'm going to show you how to make a one-pot garlic Parmesan chicken pasta. That's a mouthful. And when you do get a mouthful, it's going to be delicious. So let's get into it. Okay, let's get into it. So we're going to start off with one large chicken breast. You can use two small medium ones if you got. And we're going to cut them thinly till we got these smaller slices. Like juliennes, is that what they call them? And they're going to put in a large pinch of salt and then followed by the spices. You're going to go 3/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1 teaspoon of onion flakes. You're going to throw all of that in there, followed by a sprinkle of dried thyme and then a good amount of vegetable oil. Mix that all in with your hands. Don't be scared, man. It's your hands, you're going to be eating it. Okay, you don't need gloves. Then once you've done that, you're going to put the chicken to the side. I'm going to start dicing up this onion, but this was powerful. Wow. Eyeballs were gone, man. So you're going to dice them all up as quick as you can to avoid eyeball penetration by the onion. Put the onion to the side and I'm going to do a large amount of garlic. That's about 12 cloves there. Remember, it's a garlic Parmesan chicken pasta. So, garlic. Now, when you do cook the garlic, you don't want to mince it. You want to keep the slices whole. Okay? Because it's going to have something to bite into when you eat the pasta. Large chunks of garlic are always nice. And then we're going to cut up some parsley. And I'm going to keep the stems and the leaves separately as I've done there. And then that's all the prep work done. So we're going to put this pan on heat. It's a very good pan, by the way. You should definitely get it. Linked in description, man. You guys already know this. You're going to batch cook the chicken in some oil until it's crisp. We're going to batch cook it because we don't want it to overcrowd and then water comes out, then it's not nice. Once you've done the chicken, put it to the side. And we're going to leave all of that cremation in the pan because we're going to go in with some butter. Let that melt through and then we're going to add in all of the onion, followed by a small pinch of salt. That salt is going to bring out the moisture from the onions and then that's going to deglaze the pan. Chef things. You know what I'm saying. So once you've got to that stage, you're going to give this a mix and cook this for the next 5 minutes until the onions start to soften. And be honest, the amount of saliva that just accumulated in my mouth is not very good. So I'm going to go in with all of the garlic and see, slices like that. That's how you want it. And then we're going to cook this for a further 2 minutes, followed by the parsley stems only. And then cook this for another minute. And then once you've got to this stage, we're basically almost there. We're going to add in 1 liter of vegetable stock, or you can use chicken stock if you want. Entirely up to you. And then we're going to go in with 250 ml of double cream for extra thickness, and then a large amount of black pepper. Now I like a lot of pepper, that's why I'm going to add a lot of pepper, but if you don't like a lot of pepper, then don't add it. Okay? And then a light sprinkle of dried oregano and dried parsley, and then we're going to also add in the fresh parsley. Yes, double parsley. And then we're going to crank up the heat and give this a mix. Bring it up to heat. And then once it's there, you're going to add in 400 grams of your chosen pasta. Added penne, you can use fusilli, you can use rigatoni, anything you want. Okay, now you want to add in a large pinch of salt to compensate for the amount of pasta that you put in, but it's better for you to put in less salt and then add more later if you need. Stir this through and then you're going to simmer this on a medium-high heat for 10 to 12 minutes. Now, during this time, the water should evaporate, the cream should thicken everything up, the pasta should cook. Don't do this on a low heat or your pasta won't cook, your water won't evaporate, and then that balance won't be there. So you're going to make sure that you stir occasionally just to prevent any sort of sticking, and if you do need to lower the heat, then you can. Now at the 10-minute mark, this is what it looks like. So I've lowered the heat here a bit. You want it to be fluid in the pan, okay? And then taste to see if the pasta is done, and it was perfectly cooked. So I'll turn off the heat, then add in the chicken that we cooked earlier. With the heat turned off, we're mixing this through, and then again you can add a splash of water here if you want, if you want to loosen it up a bit, but I like this thickness. This is fine for me. Now once you've got to this stage, you're going to go in with a large amount of mozzarella cheese, followed by some more fresh parsley. Again, the heat is off, okay? All of the residual heat in the pan is doing the work. You're going to mix that through into the thick and creamy like this. Man, that looks good. And again, if you want to loosen it, you can add a splash of water. And then finally, we're going to go in with, what do you think is going to be healthy? Not healthy, man. This is a large amount of hard cheese. You can use Pecorino Romano, Parmesan, Reggiano, whatever the hell you want to use, man. Okay, but I'm using plenty of hard cheese. Mix that through, and again, still the heat is off. We're letting the residual heat do the work. Okay, now if you wanted to loosen this up a bit, you can again add a splash of water, entirely up to you. But we're going to garnish with some fresh parsley, and this is the final product. Okay, now that the dish is done, I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks on how to make this entire thing perfect. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the garlic. Now you can use as much garlic as you want. I used about 11 cloves. However, the key thing, you slice them. Not dice them, not crush them, not grate them. We're going to slice them so it's a nice long oval pieces. How do I get it long? Turn the garlic at an angle and then slice it. But a lot of that garlic will disintegrate, okay, into the dish. So it's fine, but you will get some pieces with garlic in there. So it's important to have the garlic cut like that. You can use any amount that you want. I'm not your dad. But anyways, point number 2 I want to talk to you about is cooking the chicken. Now, when you're cooking the chicken, please, just one important thing I'm going to tell you about right now. don't overcrowd the pan. Because you want a bit of a char on the chicken. You want that crustation on there, man. Crisp. Having that crust on it is just delicious, man. I would definitely cook the chicken like that. And yes, I'm going to answer your question right now. You can use chicken thighs if you want. You can use more chicken in there if you want. If you do use more chicken, just up the spices a tiny bit that I put in at the beginning. Now, point 3 I want to talk to you about is the ratio of the fluid. Now, in total, I put in 1 litre of stock and 250 ml of cream. That's 1,250 ml of fluid to cook 400 grams of pasta. If you do want to reduce the amount of pasta, then scale down the amount of fluid that you've got. The amount of stock, the amount of cream, scale it down. If you want to scale it up, then you can increase the pasta, but also increase the fluid. You might need a bigger pan though. So the next point I want to talk to you about is, leading on from that point, is the stock. Now, when you do add the stock, you have to understand that the stock has its own salt in there. So when you do add salt later on, when you add the pasta, do less first and then you can always add more afterwards if you want. You're just going to be careful that it doesn't get over salty. Someone actually commented this on my Instagram, which actually makes a very good point, because now that I talk about it, you're going to know about it. Don't go crazy with the salt because stock got salt. Now, the 5th point I want to talk to you about is, and it is very important that I talk to you about this, okay? This took about 12 minutes to cook and I took the heat off at that point. There was fluid still left in the pan. When I say fluid, I would say about 3 of these spoonfuls of fluid. Maybe 4. You could do 5, it doesn't matter. Basically, what's going to happen is a lot of the residual heat is going to cook that. But if you want that glaze on the pasta, coating everything, you want there to still be some pasta water in the dish when you take off the heat. And then when you start adding in the mozzarella cheese, that's going to mix through and it's going to glaze really well. And then when you add in the hard cheese or Parmesan, that's going to glaze really well again. Make sense? So one of the most important things of getting this pasta dish right, and if you don't want it to be stodgy, like cement, like flipping oats in prison. I've not been in prison, just watching movies, innit? So if you don't want that, make sure there is fluid left in the pan, then take off the heat. Obviously you want the chicken back in and everything like that, but take off the heat. You can do taste tests of the pasta just to check for the consistency, but make sure there is fluid in the pan, turn off the heat and keep stirring. And when you stir, when you add the cheese and things like that, it will melt through, coat everything and it'll be silky smooth, man. Anyways guys, that is the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section and all, just subscribe, like and everything, innit? I just have to cut myself off there because I've seen a lot of people watching, but they're just watching from afar. They're fence sitting, man. They're watching me with binoculars. Like, subscribe, notification, everything. Comment, all of that stuff. And then let me know if there's anything else that you want me to make. I'll see you in the next one. Section, and also like, subscribe and everything, man. Notification, shut that. But Bengali came out there.